How has being married in this brief time, 9, 10 months, and raising a family, even over this time, affected your work, or has it?
You know, it's maybe not that interested in my work as much, at least for the reasons I used to be interested in it. You know, when I was young, you know, I started out very unhappy as a child, and art was this big solution to my unhappiness, and, you know, I was a real careerist and very ambitious, and, you know, it would kill me when other people would succeed. You know, that feeling like, oh, fuck, why is he doing so well? Or why do they like him, and I'm so much better, or whatever I think I am. Or conversely, I'm horrible. But that constant ambition and drive and inability to read the trades because it would just make you crazy. And that fueled me for a long time. And then, you know, I had these 2 children, and I don't really care about any of that stuff anymore. And it all gets down in perspective. I mean, you know, one of my children was in the hospital once for a very serious reason, and none of that. I mean, you cannot take nice reviews into the hospital with you, or even, you know, people applauding you into the hospital with you in that situation. So it all kind of dwindled down, and you know, you have to then decide, why do I do what I do? If it's not to fix my life, or if my gratified ambition isn't going to make me whole, why do I do what I do? And so that's been a process.
Is it changing the stories you want to tell, or are telling?
No, it really hasn't. I mean, the kind of stuff that I'm still writing is still about my preoccupations with the, you know, mainly the life itself and the generation, you know, the ability of stupid people to create consciousness still blows my mind. You know? And, I mean, people far dumber than I can do what I can't. So I find that very fascinating.
Let's talk about Dan while he's preoccupied. Dan is his husband.
Oh, they're back there. I don't know what's going on.
I know, it's something.
There's a lot of struggle.
It's
the
boy. I think it's a wrestle off.
The boy is going down.
When you have, and he'll just close his ears for a second. When you have okay, good. When you have a husband who's also talented, who's funny, who, you know, those of you who didn't see the comeback, it made me pee. Just start from the series finale and then go back to the beginning, see the end, because if you see the finale of it, it won't spoil that much for you, but it is so funny that you'll know. I mean, I literally have watched it 3 times just because it just made me cry. But also as an actor and a creator also, and sometimes you guys work together on different projects. How is that humanly possible? I know if I worked with my husband, one of us would be dead.
No, he's a different type of work. He's very, very organized and very ambitious, and I'm very lazy. So it works out. It works out very well. But, you know, he has other interests, but it's great if you're in a relationship with somebody who's also creative, because they kind of understand the ups and the downs of it and all of that. Although sometimes we fantasize about having, you know, plumbers for boyfriends. It would be so simple. Because sometimes the business gets in the house a lot. At midnight when you're crawling into bed and it's still about the business. It's a lot.
Well, let's go to the business now, because I'm hearing contrasting things about the state of the business. I have heard that with the Brokeback Milk ascension at the Oscars, that now is the time for the new gay movie filmmaking to happen and to be a broad success of enormous proportions.
I'm sure.
And I've also heard it's the worst of times, and forget about it. You'll be lucky if you get a dime for your movie if you have gay characters in it. Is the truth somewhere in between?
No, the truth is that last thing.
Oh, really?
I think you just have to not think that. I just don't think straight people are that interested in gay people, just generally. And every once in a while, the heavens will align, and there'll be something like Brokeback Mountain or Milk, and straight people find themselves in a theater watching it, because usually their wives, you know, will take the straight men, or I don't know how it happens, but every once in a while a movie like that happens. But I don't think you should ever count on anything like that.
So this isn't a trend. We are becoming more open.
Well, not unless there are more gay people being born. Aren't there? It's just always.
I think there might be slightly more gay people.
Maybe, but it's always the same, you know. So it's about the audience, really. It's about, you know, it's just that I think gay people are interested in gay stories and straight stories, and straight people are interested in straight stories.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Does that mean that the audience is homophobic, not Hollywood is homophobic?
Well, I mean, human beings are homophobic, so the part of Hollywood that is human is homophobic.
Oh, only that part.
Only that part. So very little homophobia here. I think it's very strange. It's hard to get anybody to go anywhere. It's hard to get white people to go to black films. It's hard to, but black people go to white and black films. Do you know what I mean? The minority has to go everywhere because you're so used to, as a minority, translating everything. So you're happy to go anywhere. But the majorities don't have to. They don't have to bend and stretch. So they'll just go see stories that are like them, I think. So I don't expect, is that to applaud? Oh my God, it's discouraging. But that's just what human nature is like.
Well, let's talk about a hot button at this Outfest, I understand, and something that's really interesting. And I think I agree with you on this. Is it that there are different rules for writers and directors in being out and being gay than there are for actors?
Yes, I think there are. I don't think actors should be out at the level of press, radio, TV, films, People magazine, and I just don't think it's useful. Here's a good actor, Mel Gibson, who I could not put in a movie now because we know too much about him. I couldn't really get the audience to make a leap. Patricia Heaton, who's an actress I love, she's so Republican, really, and now I can't think of her, but you know what I mean? And she's wonderful. But, even a little scrap of information about who could put Tom Cruise in a movie right now? Aside from those huge, big movies, but who wants to deal with the baggage? Because we know too much about him. I mean, I see Tom Cruise and I'm thinking of Scientology and jumping on a couch and getting into a fight with Brooke Shields. So I tend to not want to know anything about actors, whether they're Democrats, Republicans, they're green, they're not green, they voted for Obama, they didn't, or they're gay or they're straight. And I think going to a movie, what we are asking of the audience, you're asking them to enter into a very intimate and kind of primitive relationship. Because we have close-ups, I don't think our brains are really wired for close-ups. I mean, the only time we see a face that close in real life is if someone's strangling us or making love to us or breastfeeding us. And so when you're in a dark room...
Or all of the above.
Or all of the above. It's true. When you're in a dark room and those images are happening, I mean, there's something very primitive that goes on in the psyche. And I want those faces up there that have so much power to be very pure. So I'm not talking about, I don't know what it would do to an actor to not come out publicly, personally, in their own personal psyche. It might be an incredible psychic cost to them not to come out, but I don't want them to, for me, for my purposes.
I mean, but there seems something a little logical about that for me, because if you think about the biggest movie stars currently, the audience is desperate for information about them.
Well, what the audience thinks they want and how useful the artist is for me are two different things. I mean, I want to know everything about Jennifer Aniston, and I want to know everything about everybody. But that's a separate issue as to how useful that actor could be to me. I prefer more mystery, and I think I know that person, maybe I don't know that person, or I never, I like it that way. I just think the actors then are more available for my purposes. So I'm speaking,
as a director.
As a director. I think actors should be out to their family and their friends, and I don't think that they should. I'm not asking them to be crippled psychologically for me. They should be out to the people who know them. But why does my mother need to? My mother still doesn't think Rosie O'Donnell is gay. She's one of those mannish women who are sporty. I don't know what she is. But I mean, you have to actually yell at my mom, I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay, for her to get it.
Well, it's sort of like Liberace was.
Yeah, right. It's like,
well, we're not gay, somehow. I mean, it's so obvious, but not gay.
So cling to that, I say.
So then, just to stay on for just one beat longer, then let's imagine if it were that Kevin Spacey were gay, just if he were, okay, that he's doing a good job by your book, by not publicly acknowledging, if he were gay, and I'm not saying that he is. I'm not saying I've slept with him. I'm not saying I know any grip or gapper who slept with him. I'm not saying that. Or director. All I'm saying is that if he were, he's doing the right thing right now.
Yes, he is. I don't think it's... I mean, I think if our heroes are actors, we're in trouble. I'd much rather your local doctor come out if he's gay. I'd much rather your gym teacher come out if he's gay. I'd much rather your priest to come out when they're gay, and they always are. But I think that, I think everybody in the world should come out except actors. Because I can't use them so much.
Okay, we're going to come back to your questions on that subject because I know you have one, but let's just put a pin in that.
That's not a controversial position, is it?
It's somewhat controversial, yes. Yeah. We'll come back to it, and we're going to hear from our audience about that.
Sorry.
So let's put a pin in that for a moment.
It seems so sensible. How can it be controversial?